Monique, thank you ever so much for joining me. Thank you for giving up some of your time. Um,
Thank you for
first,
having me.
first of all, just before we get into all of the amazing things that you're doing, how have you been? The world has been dealing with this pandemic. How have you been affected, work-wise, personally? You know, how are you?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a crazy time. It was like I felt like The Walking Dead is about to happen at some point. I've been lucky to I've been working since just before lockdown, and that 21 day that we got locked up
Yeah,
lockdown. I That's the only time I've not been working. For me, it's been kind of the opposite. I've been working overtime to get ahead of episodes, screening time for St. Worcester. And at the same time, I was doing a feature film in Neisner, which I had to go up and down and shoot up and down with, and I still did my voice work. So I was like trashed in work, which I'm grateful for. I was just extremely tired. This thing that sucked is that now my film is done and it was supposed to premiere this year, and now it can't because of COVID. So
yeah,
now it's gonna only premiere next year, which is also fine, but it sucks. I wanted the red carpet and all of that.
yeah. No, I'm sure. Yeah, so at least you've been keeping busy. You've not been stuck at home. So you've been, busy doing what you normally do then.
Yeah, I've been blessed. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's
Mhm.
that's great. And I mean, as I've been talking to, as has been echoed in a lot of conversations that I've had. Of course, it's been a very difficult time, but it's also the noise has stopped, if you see what I mean. And for me personally, in a way, it's been sort of a time of reflection, and because it's sort of quieter, and just less frantic. Have you had time to, has it been a time of introspection or at all, or have you just been too busy to really take time out?
Mhm. No, I think it's definitely been that. Like whether you've been busy or not, there was a time for everyone in their life where they had to stop and rethink things,
Yeah,
With like, I mean, we all know how how quick a life can end like this, how short life can be. But now with this pandemic, it's kind of been dangling in our faces, and it's been really scary. It had to have you think about stuff. It like you said, like taking that beat, the world, the noise quiet. You have to at some point sit down and rethink think your life, and like, is this okay? Is that okay? Could I have done this differently? How can I help to change? Like, what can I do to help? Because it's like, the tiny things that you do can affect like a bigger group of people. And it just like it I think it made you less selfish, because it's a thing of, yeah, I can catch on sorry shit, and
yeah,
then but now when I do that, it will affect the next person, and then that person's family, and whoever that person's family member has been in touch with, you know what I mean? It's that whole link thing that freaks you
yeah,
the hell
absolutely.
out,
Yeah,
which just makes you realize humanity. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, no, that's a good way of putting it. Sort of, it's put us sort of back in touch with ourselves, our humanity. Yeah, and that's good. So,
Yeah.
you're doing all of these amazing things, but let's start at the beginning. Where did you grow up?
Okay, so I grew up in a very small dorpie called Albertina,
Yeah,
and that's also where I went to school and I matriculated there. Very small town.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so you Virginia, and then you decided then after school you're gonna go to Cape Town because you're based in Cape Town now, obviously. But did you decided to
Yes.
go to Cape Town?
Yeah, I did. Like a muggy, like flying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just
Yeah.
Cape Town because, like, after I found out no, acting is life, and I wanted to go there because it's the closest place I thought I could go to, to learn about this acting stuff, to learn about theater and drama and acting and all of that. So I did go to Cape Town. I went to Northern College for a year, And then if I passed that year good enough, then I would get accepted to Tswana University to go on to my second year, third year, and then get my degree, which was my plan, my short-term plan. Didn't work out that way because I did very well at Northlink, and then at the end of the year, doing my last exams, I was told, I'm sorry, but there's no money for you to go
All right.
for to Tswana, and maybe you should think about teaching or whatever. And I didn't stop.
Yeah,
I went to Saturday classes in observatory. I don't know if you know Abdurrahman Adams.
I do.
He
Yes.
was he's known for recently. He was the villain in Said Oster Ian, and he's in Melody at the moment on SABC2. Very a phenomenal actor, and he would always be like this mentor, father figure, take you under my wing type of person. So he took a group of us, including the guy that played opposite me in Nommer 37, Irshad Ali. We were there at the same time taking
Yeah.
classes. And you know what? Him taking a chance on a bunch of us misfits, I mean, a lot of us went really far in our career. So
Yeah.
thank you, Abdul.
Yeah. No, so you mentioned number 37. That was sort of your. I mean, you've been doing stuff
Yeah,
before
that
that,
was
but
my
you know,
debut film.
yeah, film. I mean,
Mm.
incredible film, and incredible acting. Um,
Thank you.
what goes into preparing for a role like that? Because it's quite intense, and I'm sure there's quite a lot of sort of deep digging, that you have to do to explore
Yeah.
a character like that. What was the preparation like for that role?
I think it's funny enough, when I was 37, I didn't have preparation time because I got the part literally like 2 weeks before we had to start shooting.
Wow.
But what goes into that, I would say, like, it's delving into the people, the people that live there. Who are they? What do they do? What do they want? What type of people is there? Like, what are the opportunities? What are they, the lifestyle? And you kind of have to put yourself in that position. I always like to delve in to a character knowing that I'm not going to half-ass it, because
Yeah.
authenticity is extremely important to me. So I don't
Yeah.
like lying in a character. So a
Yeah.
lot of Pam's characteristics I had to find through the woman I know growing up, whether some of it is from my inner being to a sister, to a cousin, to a woman that used to clean our house, to someone, like, there's a lot of people and situations that you had to delve into. And I think the hardest part for me was to search for Pam's how can I put this, the rough things that you had to go through emotionally. I had to go find inside myself, which I necessarily didn't want to do, but it is part of the work if you want to, if you want to be truthful, if that
Yeah.
makes any sense.
Yeah.
And
Of
then
course.
afterwards, I would think you would thank past experiences because you learned from them, and then they also gave you this little toolkit of emotions that you can
Yeah,
access
that you can
if you
channel.
need it, like responsibly so though. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah,
and
that sort of research. And
yeah, and then obviously, I mean, it's obviously emotionally a very sort of taxing process. How do you then disconnect from that?
yeah,
How do you
extremely.
how do you come out of it? Is that something that you
That's
found?
an extreme. Yeah, it's something that I had to learn to get better at on the way, because going into acting, that's not really stuff that you learn in class and stuff. When you are in the field, you're going to play a part, and then you're going to have to wash yourself off the part. It's not really that. Kind of happened as it got there. I was like, oh, yo, okay, I need to release this demons.
Yeah,
And a lot of friends of mine that I always speak to would give me the advice, like, at the end of a project like that, it's always good to wash yourself from this character, whether it mean like going on a cleanse, like, like cleansing, detoxing, going on a gym trip, or just going away out of Cape Town, away from everyone, or
yeah,
go to, like, I like to go back home to my family, to my roots, where the noise is
yeah,
calm, to that small town Dorpie where it's quiet and you can see all the stars at night. And that kind of, just to bring me back to, this is where I am, this is who I am, this is where I come from, because it's important to know those things all the time in this industry, I feel like.
yeah. No, absolutely. Um, yeah, of course, that's the film that sort of put you on the map, kind of thing. But most people now know you, you know, because of Saint Worcester, and your role on there. You play Joy on Saint Worcester.
Yeah.
A lot of the themes, or a lot of, you know, what is going on with her at this point in Saint Worcester, you know, sort of echoes what's been going on in the country and in the world. I mean, we are currently celebrating Women's Month, you know, but it's been a bit tainted, you know, by everything that has gone on, you know.
Yeah.
How responsible do you feel, you know, to sort of make your voice heard about stuff like this, and you know, how important do you think it is, you know, for all of us to, you know, to voice this kind of thing, and what is it that you think we can do to change this culture that seems to be brooding?
Mm. I don't know. Like, it's a tricky question for me always, because I always tell people, like, I'm not an influencer or a celebrity. My job is just acting and showing up this mirror to society, which is already, I feel like, a very important thing, to show up this mirror, which will show people, it shows us ourselves. And in that, maybe you can learn from looking at yourselves. Yes, it's stories and it's fiction, but it's based on something.
Yeah.
For me, I personally think that with a character like Joy, she's an ex-stripper, tried to make it in life. She didn't have a good childhood or anything. She had a rough time. So for me, it's always important to, like, there's no way I will judge her as a character. I need to go find out why, you know, whatever she does and why she did it, I need to find a way to justify that, and which I do. It makes me more open to other women in the shoes that they walk in, and that's quite important for me. So again, with that character, I try to go as truthful as I could and try to play her with as much respect as she and all the joys out there could get. Die mag nie wil nie weggaan nie. Yeah, but so I think it's up to all of us to, like, speak our minds. Everyone isn't that comfortable with it, and you should respect that too. You can't tell everyone, like, yeah, but you're on TV, so you should say something. Everyone is not made that way. They do their small things in their own way.
Right.
I just don't like to keep my mouth shut. That's my thing. I just say what I think is, you know, I need to stand up for at a time. I remember being in my wheelchair last year with the protests. I went with my wheelchair to protest, and Uncle Cyril came to talk to us. I mean, nothing happened to that talking to, but I mean, we were there. I think as South Africans and as women and as men, especially, we should just not stop speaking out. We should keep it alive, keep the energy. And that thing of looking the other way when something happened, you know, when someone you know or someone that you respect or look up to, when he or she hurts a child or a woman or abuses them or whatever, we shouldn't look the other way. We have to open our mouths. Otherwise, this protesting, it's not going to do anything, because the government is not really doing anything. The other day, someone got out on bail for 1,000 rand.
Yes.
I was like, oh, dis lekker in Suid-Afrika. Ag nee, hierso is gou 1,000 rand. Ek gaan gou tronk toe omdat ek iemand abuse het, en nou gaan ek gou uit want dis net 1,000 rand. Like, what is that message? It makes me angry. And also a point, sorry to break you, that you said, like, we're supposed to celebrate Women's Month, but let's be honest, when last did we celebrate Women's Month? Women's Month is, like you said, tainted by every year it's worse. People were very upset with the storyline happening to Joy now, this abuse thing, and they're like, really? How can you have this storyline? It's Women's Month. I'm like, well, I feel like that's kind of the point. That baie jy koop balloons vir vroue, but they're still suffering. Why don't we just show the truth? What's happening during Women's Month and every other day?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's well, I mean, this is the thing, you know, to keep the momentum going, you know, because it's all good and well to, you know, have 2 weeks where everybody's, you know, blacking out their you know, Instagram profiles and whatever, you know, but what are we really doing, you know? I mean, for instance, you know, as a person of color in my industry, I mean, you know, in music, in classical music, which is predominantly sort of a white thing, if you like. You know, I sort of recently opened up the conversation, you know, as to the kind of stuff that we have to deal with every day that they might not be aware of. And the crazy thing is how unaware people seem to be, and so how do we get to the point where,
Mm.
it's not just about being part of a hashtag, but really starting to understand what's going on, and doing something about it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And yeah, I mean, I suppose it's little things every day. um, yeah. So, Saint Ooster, now, did you think you'll be doing this for a while still? Are there other, what are your plans for the next sort of, I don't know, 2, 3 to 5 years? Or what are your desires?
I definitely my desires.
Yeah.
I want to walk. I want to walk my carpet for this film that's coming out because the
Yeah.
whole team we worked so hard on it. So I want to be able to walk with my team there. Hopefully this pandemic is finished and we can enjoy. I want to see the film doing well overseas and everywhere. I'm busy writing my own plays. I have a director that we would want to start putting the play on the floor by the end of this year.
Mhm.
I see myself producing more of my own things because it's just that thing of playing. You have to play by the rules in South Africa a lot, and that rule sometimes excludes all the cultural ethnicities, if you know what I mean. You
Yeah.
can't always say things the way you want to say it and how your culture would have said it while you grew up, because you can say it like 30%, but not too much for TV. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like you can be a little colored, but not too colored.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
kind of the thing. I'm probably gonna get some shit for saying that too, but it is what it is. So I really want to save up some money so I can produce my own stuff with my fellow South Africans. And it doesn't really matter what color you are. It's just if you're willing, if you want to tell stuff the way it's supposed to be told, in the language it's supposed to be spoken, then I'm all about that. Tell everyone's stories, represent everyone. And if there's no seat at the table for you, I want to make my own table. So
Yeah. I
I'm
like that.
excited to see what the next couple of years bring in that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was speaking to a couple weeks ago. I spoke to Sue Pyler, who's up in Joburg at RSG.
I know, Sue.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But she mentioned this thing. She said that she was really proud to see, especially the younger generation of colored actors, who are coming through and so on. And it's not that one, wants to make
Yeah.
a point of the whole thing being colored, but I mean, you growing up, me
I
growing
feel,
up,
yeah.
there was never, you never felt like, as you say, your story was being told. Is your friend still there?
Yeah.
But that's the thing, and I think this is why, you know, this is why, people are so drawn to circuits like say Twister and Arensplay and these things, because our stories are
Yeah.
starting to be told, in a real way,
Yeah.
and that's
It's so
important.
nice. And we never had that growing up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I
Yeah,
actually wanted to tell you, like, when you asked me about high school, and I remember watching movies and stuff, and I'm like, I want to do this. I want to be an actor. And everyone's like laughing at you. Ha ha ha. How are you going to do that? And then at some point in primary school, still, the show called Onder Engelen came out. And
yeah,
then the sequel, Tussen Duivels. And it was people like me on TV. It was like Denise Newman and Yoda Samson. And it was um, Uncle Sid, Christo Davids, those
yeah,
people. And I
exactly.
was
Yeah,
like, but they speak like us. So I can do that. And I decided right then when Fishy Fashions came out and Leanne van Rooy slayed us being that
yeah,
quirky, hot character in
yeah,
this
yeah,
sitcom with Auntie June and Jodie Abrams and that crew. It was amazing. And see, if it wasn't for them opening up that dream process for the rest of us, we wouldn't have known we can do that. So I feel it's not bragging or making a colored thing. It's celebrating ourselves
yeah,
and saying, look, guys, the rest of you can all do this if you want to. If you want to work hard and be slaves for the rest of your life, do this. You can. The option is there. And it's important for us to tell the youngsters, especially the people of color, that think the only thing they can do is be this or that or what they were told to do. no, that's not true. You can become anything you want to, and we are showing you this. This is our responsibility to
Yeah,
show you and to guide you on how to do it the right way. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Respectful freaking way.
yeah. No, I absolutely agree. Yeah, I mean, it's a friend of mine, a friend and I were talking. He's also a colleague of mine, just a couple of days ago about what an impact it has to see, people who look like you, people who sound like you, and people who probably have a similar background to you doing this thing that you dream of. It somehow makes the dream
Yeah.
so much more possible and real. So I really agree with that. And so,
Yeah. I mean, I was doing my first scene opposite Denise Newman in. I worked with her for the first time in a series called Dispreus on Cakenet that I did last
yeah, yeah,
year, right? When I was chasing ghosts and stuff. And she was in one of the episodes.
yeah, yeah,
And I played opposite her, and I'm like, yo, Denise, you have no idea what it feels like for me to be playing opposite you. I'm investigating a case where I interrogate you, which
yeah,
you are the one basically that showed me without even knowing my name or that I existed. You showed me like I can do it, and I said that this feels so full circle. And like I
yeah.
hugged her that time. We could still hug, and I was like, "Yo, thank you, man, for." Do you know? Anyway.
No, yeah, I can absolutely relate. Yeah. So can you talk at all about the film you just finished filming, or is that still under wraps?
I can a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah,
I
yeah.
can say the director is Jaco Bouwer. He's one of my favorite directors, and then the writer is Tertius Kapp. So this is basically the same crew from Dispreus we
It's
did.
pretty,
So
yeah,
like you guys know, this crew, they think outside of the box. This is the outside
yeah,
of the box people. Like if you're gonna write
yeah.
something weird, they tell you just go with it. We'll pull you back if we need to. This is the gang.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But so yeah, having done the it was a hectic trip shooting experience because we shot mostly at night because it was South African folklore, like ghost stories. So most of it happens at night. So it was night shoots from 6 p.m. till 6 a.m., 5 till 5, that. And it was a crazy ride. But so with this crew, we went to Knysna just before the pandemic hit us. We were still busy filming this beautiful resort in between Knysna and Plate somewhere. And
Mhm.
it's a ecological thriller, horror. Yeah, so some creepy stuff is gonna go down.
All right.
I'm gonna be, yeah. I'm the leading lady. I'm starting to think there's a pattern. Like people like to use me for creepy stuff, which I'm okay with. I am weird, so it's fine. And then I play opposite Karel Nel, one of my favorite South African actors. I love him. And then Alex van Dijk, who did Griquastad now recently. Also an amazing young actor.
Yeah,
So we did this. We were running through forest. I learned how I did archery.
lovely.
So
Yeah.
I can now do that too.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
it's very cool. I just
Yeah.
want to do that now the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so running through the forest, being one with nature,
Yeah.
hiking to locations like our last look at the location we would hike, and then we're like, okay, stop, we're gonna shoot it here. So we were supposed to premiere at the Silver Skerm Feast this year for the
Right. Yeah.
feature film categories. But so now we're gonna do it next year sometime. As soon as I know more, I will obviously post. But that's
Yeah.
all I can say for now. But I'm excited because this is the first time that I play the leading lady and not the lady opposite the guy. Like the guy
Yeah.
is the hero and then I kind of like
Yeah.
second command type of thing. So this is like my one. So that's why I was so excited.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, very risque movie also. There's some nudity in, obviously, again. So my parents won't necessarily watch it. Well, against my will, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
gonna be one of those cool things that you hopefully win some weird award for. I don't know. That's why I'm so excited.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. And also,
Yeah.
it's
No.
the first thing I shot after breaking my leg, so
Oh
that was
gosh.
kind of special. That's why it
Yeah,
was
because you
special.
you you
Yeah, I
just
had
you
to
just
learn to run again, and
okay, sorry to interrupt you, but you mentioned a few minutes ago about turning up to the protest with your wheelchair. You broke your leg. Did you
yeah.
have an accident? What happened?
No, it was one of those weird things where I just was clumsy and I broke my leg. I thought I just
Okay.
stepped wrong. And like
Yeah.
kind of, ek dink ek my enkel geswik. And then it was painful. And then I went the next day to the hospital only because I refused to think that it was that bad. And then I got there, the doctor kind of gave that look, can I see you in the office? And I broke my leg. It was a double fracture. I still didn't know what that meant. I was busy shooting Blood and Water for Netflix at the time. And then I broke my leg, not on set, obviously. And then I still told him, no, I'm just in the hospital quickly. They're going to do the operation and I should be okay to start in like 3 weeks. I didn't know. It was I was just like ambitious. I was like, I will not lose this job. I will not lose this job.
Yeah.
And all the jobs that I lined up my year was set. I had worked till the end of the year. I was there. I was flying, and then this happened, and I was like, yo, that killed me. Hey, losing all that work. But again, it was like one of those things when you said for the noise to stop, to take a beat, to realize what's important. Where am I? Who am I? Where do I come from? Where am I going? And now I'm back. I told myself I'm going to be back. I just refuse to believe that that limp is going to stay or that I won't be able to run again. I mean, the first film I did, it was probably the worst thing insurance-wise. And so I'm like, I did something right in this team. But I mean, running, like shooting arrows and killing monsters and bleeding and falling through bushes. Like, I don't think that's the best thing for me to have done. But I was like, what break? What leg? No, I wasn't in hospital, like, not even a year ago.
Gosh, no, amazing.
So thanks, guys, for trusting me.
And I mean, you allude to there being a theme with the kind of roles that you're getting. There is sometimes this thing with actors where you not put in a box or whatever, but I suppose people sort of identify your strengths or I mean
I guess, or where I'm willing to go. I think where I'm willing to go, because you mentioning that inside of a boxing, I always told myself that I will not be put into a box. That's saying also the type of parts that I play will not be that typical colored girl who got pregnant at 16 and is a drug addict. That is not the only parts out there for me. So I'm going to be a lawyer or a doctor or a police officer who chases ghosts. I'm going to run around chasing monsters in the forest as an ecological something. And now I'm an ex-stripper. I'm like, don't box me, man.
No, that's cool.
I'm going to do what I want. My agent always tells me, like, you are the naughtiest child I have. She's like, you are so naughty. I'm like, I'm not naughty. I'm just not going to be put in that. I just don't like authority that much. But I listen when I need to, I'm rebel.
Exactly. So we've been talking a lot about your work and whatever, but what is Monique like when she's away from the screens? When you go away from the cameras, what kind of thing do you get up to? Are you a family kind of person? Are you?
No, I'm a family girl. I stay mostly at home because it's safer. Like if I'm at home, it's better for the world.
Oh,
no,
right.
Man, I do like going out. I like.
So the world is safer,
Yeah.
Okay.
But I love family. I love spending time with my family. I love lazing around. Like, I wear pajamas most of the time. I don't like to brush my hair or put on makeup at home. I like walking barefoot all the time. You're not allowed to do that in malls or restaurants. That's irritating. So but I do like going wine tasting. I love going wine tasting, and I like exploring. My favorite place to go to is the beach, but the beach tends to be like too full of people and then like weird angles of photos. That's not nice. So I should probably save up for a swimming pool.
Yeah,
that's me. I love TV. I love stuff like South Park. I love
Yeah, cool.
cooking. Yeah, normal stuff.
Okay, yeah. So the simple pleasures in life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Look, Monique, I could talk to you for hours, but just one last thing. Um, there's this.
Okay.
I love this quote by Horace Mann, the educator, um, that says, "Be ashamed to die until you've scored a victory for humankind." Um, what is that victory for you? What is that thing that you want to have achieved, or things, in fact, that you want to have achieved by the time you leave this place?
Hmm. I want. I know this is not all what your quote is saying because I understand it, but for me, it is freedom. I just want to be free one day in my life, in my mind, in my country. I want a space that has been for my son to like, you know, live in one day. I want to be able to give him options that I never had. I want to be able to make this world better, even if it's just for him and the people that he reached so that they can. I know it sounds very pageantry, world peace and stuff, but freedom is a thing that is not just physical, it's also mental. And if I can be free, sure, that would be amazing. It would be an amazing thing to leave behind for people to chase freedom. So,
Yeah. No, I get that. I mean, it's like that beautiful quote by Marianne Williamson, the one that says we are, our deepest fear is not, being inadequate, but, that we are great beyond measure. But one of the lines
yes,
also, yeah,
yeah.
but one of the lines also is that, when you liberate yourself, you give others permission to liberate
Mm.
themselves. Yeah. So
Yes.
I totally relate. Yeah. Monique,
Yeah. Something makes sense.
yeah.
Hey, there's this quote. What is the poet? What is his name? Oh no, I forgot his name, but I literally in every interview, like I quote it and I go Google what's the quote again. But it's so beautiful. They read it in in Equilibrium as well. I don't know if you watched the film,
I
but
no,
then
I,
the one character is sitting with a book, and they catch him with a book. So in Equilibrium, you should check it out. You're not allowed to check out art, or you're not allowed to wear colors. Everything is black and white because the world is safer that way. So there's no feelings and light and reading books and looking at sculptures or art pieces. So, but anyway, long story short, they catch him with a book, and he knows he's about to die because they caught him, and then he reads this last quote out of the book before they kill him, and it says blah 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 blah. But I, being poor, have only my dreams, and I have laid them under your feet, something like that. And then it goes, tread carefully because you tread on my dreams. And that is
yeah,
so beautiful for me. So like I feel like as a goodbye, like don't tread on anyone's dreams. You have no idea
yeah,
what they will become, what they can do, like don't tread on my dreams, man.
yeah. No, it's beautiful.
I'm gonna send you this poem on email, just
Yeah,
like I
yeah,
know what I'm talking about.
yeah. Please, please. Monique, thank you so much for your time. As I said, we can go on for hours, but it's thank you so much for giving up some of your time, your honesty, your
Thank you for
realness.
having me, man.
Yeah, no, I love it. Your honesty and your realness is so refreshing. And I look forward to the new film, and all of the projects to come. And I'm sure we'll speak again or see each other at some point
Yeah.
in
We're
the
gonna have
future.
wine tasting when you come to Cape Town
Yeah,
after
absolutely.
COVID is
Yeah,
done. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
Kom ons doen dit, bra.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much.